Good evening and welcome to Event Ensemble. This is the second Thursday of the month, and we are on live in the mix at 6 each and every second Thursday of the month. And for the early birds and the non-night owls, we do the 9 a.m. morning meetings the first and third Thursday of each month. But wait, hold the presses, stop, because something radical has happened and things are about to change, and don't it's okay, we'll be all right. Change is going to be a coming, and it's actually good change because you know it's such a good lesson that I learned as a reminder. I can't tell you how many times I picked up the phone, and please don't laugh that I still have a landline, but yes, I picked up the phone and I called. Well, I could have shown my iPhone, but I wanted to be silly. So anyway, I called Panera Bread, and this was probably 3 months or so ago. And I said, "Are you open? Can we use your room?" And they said, "Yes, absolutely." And is there a limit to how many people we can have in your room? No, no, the room's open. Come on in. And I thought, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. So instead of posting an Event Ensemble 3 months ago, "Hey, we can get into our room again," I said, "Wait, let's see what happens." And sure enough, about an hour later, the manager calls me and says, "I don't know who you spoke to, but they were totally mistaken. That room is closed and you cannot get in there." And I thought, okay, it's all right. We're still friends. But sure enough, it just goes to show that the phone is not always the best way to communicate with people. So I actually physically went in to Panera Bread in Mesa, for those who know the spot, Brandy. And sure enough, the room just opened a couple of days ago. And you would have thought that there was a party when I walked in. "Oh my God, it's Scott. Come on in. Listen, we would be so happy to have you come back to our room. And it's available now." Oh my God. And don't worry about the minimums, because you could just come right on in and we'll be happy to have you. And I am not exaggerating. They were really, really excited about having meetings back in the room again. I'm going to check with Scottsdale. That's Mesa. And I got their catering menu and I got their card. And for those who have been with us for the last 9 years or so, then you know that Mesa is where it all began. It's where we first sat down with 3 people and turned this into 1,200 and then changed the business model. And now we're down to about 200. But things are going to change as events return, referrals pick up, and people are going to need each and every one of you for what we do. So the big question at hand, and I know this is shout out night, we're going to get to that, but the big question at hand is, do we want to do in-person meetings? The elephant in the room is we were supposed to actually be live at an event tonight for Event Ensemble, a late shift at one of our fellow venues in Gilbert. And sadly, it did not happen for a variety of different reasons. And I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm not blaming anybody. The bottom line is the group may not be ready. And if you've seen the poll in our Facebook page, then you kind of know not everybody is ready. Several of the comments were, maybe a hybrid is the best solution. And maybe we can do a combination of Zoom and in-person meetings. So here's what I think we're going to do. And then I'm going to open it up for discussion before we get into the shout out session. Currently, we meet the first Thursday in the morning, the second Thursday tonight in the evening, and the third Thursday in the morning. I think that we should make the third Thursday of the month a hybrid meeting. And it might be in Mesa, or it might be somewhere on the west side, or it might be at Danielle's place in Scottsdale, depending on whether she wants to get up that early. And Alina has an option, so hold that thought for just a second. And then the night shift or the late shift will be a flex night, where it's always in the evening, sometimes online only, or sometimes in person somewhere only. In other words, not a hybrid, not bringing in the Zoom to the room, but it would be in person only. And now I'm looking for comments. Alina, you had your hand up first.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring another option up because I do absolutely love this place, and they do have a wonderful large room that we could use, and it's La Madeleine's. It's a French bakery, and
Okay.
it is so amazing. The food is to die for.
Okay. Hold
Their
this thought. Hold
pastries,
this thought.
oh.
Hold this thought. You're not talking about Madeleine's that is in Santan Village, are you? Because I know that room and it is not big.
Awatuki. Well, so
Ah,
Chandler. So let's say
okay.
Chandler. It's Chandler. I'm sorry. I live
No,
in
no, no, it's
Awatuki.
okay.
It's in Chandler. It's
But they
by
have
the
a big
Chandler
room
Mall. They have a large room.
and
It's
it's separate.
larger. It's separate. It's to the
Oh,
side. As you walk into the restaurant, there's a large room on the right-hand side that it's closed off, and that's for things like what we do, or corporate events, or even small weddings, rehearsal dinners. So that's what they do there. And I can even go in and ask them. That's where I meet with my clients. So they know me when I go in because they see me there all the time. But it's absolutely amazing. They have a wall. So I'm guessing, you bring in your projector anyways to present. So I'm guessing you could do that there, but it's a wonderful option. And I think, Chandler is very midway. There's lots of event professionals that live out in the Chandler Gilbert area. So
including
that's
you.
including me. Yes.
Okay, it is a great suggestion. For those who may not know, La Madeleine's French Bakery was actually a member of Event Ensemble. They joined just before, at the tail end of 2019, before the poop hit the fan. And so
Yeah.
Jen, I still have her contact information. I'm not sure if she's still with the company, but she was not just a person. She wasn't the manager of one, she was the district manager of many. So she may have the property that you're referring to in Chandler Awatuki area as part of her responsibility. I will reach out to her and see if the room is available. I know that when I last spoke with her about the Santan Village property, the room was not available because I used to have a other networking business group that met there and the room was not available. But as I say, Panera Bread is open and Ducey says everybody's open. So I will check with her and we'll see if we can get a meeting there or something going on. Okay, other hands in the air or voices. Yes, Deborah Lee.
Right here. So I just hung my art at Squares with a Z Pies, and they have a couple of locations, but I know the North Scottsdale one is huge and beautiful, and they special open it for events. So they close right now at 3, but if there's a night one, that'd be cool. They could do a morning one. I don't know how busy they are, but it's very comfy couches and really big space and great art, I hear.
Interesting you should say that. I'm sure Brandy, who has been with us for just a short time, might remember that we used to meet for an afternoon meeting at Biscuits and Gravy or something. And it really was an afternoon meeting. I think we met at 1:30 or something. And that's because the store closed at that time and they kept it open for us to have the meeting and we ate, and that was a win for them and a win for us. Boy, that was a long time ago. I'd forgotten that we had an afternoon meeting. Okay, Mary, you had your hand up.
I just want to say I'd like a mixture of both because I'm enjoying doing the Zoom, but I also enjoy going both. And with my flexible schedule now, I'm only 4 days a month working. As soon as I get my apartment, I will not be working any weekends. So pleased about that. But yeah, I like the mixture of both. I think that'd be great.
Mary's like me. She goes both ways. I did a Well, don't take that the wrong way, Mary. Alyssa Bellinger, who's a planner in our group, who I did a spotlight for last Thursday, she was adamant, not in the spotlight. This was before we did the spotlight recording, but she was really clear. She has zoomed out. She has no interest in doing anything on Zoom. She really only wants to do in person. That is her goal. That is her preference. And there are many people who are not currently members of Ensemble for that very reason. So my goal is to find that happy medium in between the two, where those people who don't want to travel, who feel really comfortable in this environment, can benefit from the environment, but at the same time, those people who want to go face to face can. Okay. Any other comments or ideas regarding Zoom and in a room?
Well, I was just thinking, is there a problem with doing all of them, both in person and, because basically, I mean, going back to in person the whole time, like every single time, but putting it out on Zoom so those who are not comfortable could just listen in. Is that an option?
I'll just give you the perspective. We did a hybrid meeting for the first time for my Rotary Club. Now, I've done hybrid meetings before, but this was for my Rotary Club. And the setup and the equipment and the time to prepare everything. And I'm not talking about content. I'm talking about actual just equipment.
Setting up. Okay.
It's like almost an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
It's a major, and it's not just a major expense of time for me, which I'm happy to do. It's a major expense on the venue, because it means they have to either let me in the night before, or they got to let me in very early in the morning before the meeting starts. As it turns out, Panera Bread, who's already open at 7 a.m. in the morning, I can get into the room early. Our meeting starts at 9, and I can be fresh and tidy and in my suit and looking like I just walked in, as opposed to, oh my God, everybody look out. Danielle, you'll see that jeans and t-shirt look when I'm at the house setting up before your guests arrive.
I love it.
There's nothing wrong with jeans and t-shirt, nothing at all.
You know what? I beg to differ, but okay.
Okay.
Love your outfit, by the way, Scott. It's very nice. Very nice.
Oh, what, this whole thing? Thank you. Really, Danielle, stop. Just stop.
Don't feed the peacock.
Oh, guilty.
I am going to say, though, that I understand the time constraint on setting up the Zooms. However, not all of us are not wanting to meet in person. Just some of us aren't wanting to drive 3 hours.
Well, but even beyond the 3 hours, most, not all, but most of the people who don't want to meet in person, besides the drive time, they're really just not ready to reemerge. They're still in hibernation, a lot of people, and we need to be respectful of that. And if they want to wear masks, the mask thing at the Rotary thing, they gave us very strict guidelines. Everybody that was sitting down had to have a mask on unless they were eating. And if they moved from their table, they had to make sure that they had their mask on. But when I showed up on the morning on Tuesday, only the staff had masks, because Ducey had said masks are not required. And so now all of a sudden everybody just kind of went, oh, throw that away. And they did. But I didn't. I kept mine on because I think that's still part of the professional attire, as this is for right now. And so and that's respecting both sides of the opinion. And I don't want to get into the politics of it. And any other thoughts on this idea before we get into the shout out? Oh, Barb, virgin in the territory, I might add. Welcome.
Don't expose me.
Oh, okay.
You just haven't seen me. Yes, first time back in a long time. For me, I'm happy to do whatever. I would only be able at this point to be online. And I'm fully vaccinated, but I have a little granddaughter who lives with me much of the time,
Ah,
and she has epilepsy, and she is high risk
Oh.
because she's continuing to have seizures. And so even though I know that there's very little chance that I would get it, the data is not really clear on whether or not, I mean, we know that we can still carry it in our noses
right.
and we can give it to other people. So if I were to come home and spread it to a 5-year-old who is high risk, I would just be devastated.
We totally get it. And we
Yeah,
respect
so
the
I'm
position.
thrilled to be a part of this and you, and it's very frustrating for me on the mornings that you meet because I'm on online school with my granddaughter. So I just want to be here as much as I can. And I'm grateful that you do some online things. And I totally respect people wanting to get together in person. I'm dying to meet and do all of that, but just not yet.
Well, a friendly reminder that you can drop your contact information in the chat, and it's a good idea to save that chat at the end of the night or before you bug out, so that you'll have everybody's contact information. And it's okay to reach out and say, Mary, I'd like to sit down and learn more about who you are and what you do, because this is a networking environment. Mary, that was not a, it's just what it is what it is.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. I do
Okay.
want to do it. Believe me, I do. Just once I get moved, I won't be so stressed. I'll be happy to do it.
Okay, excellent. And Danielle had her spotlight and she survived. I mean, look, she's still here. So, you know, it's not that painful. Melanie, you could be next. All right.
And there is no residual because I had mine a while ago and I'm still here live.
See, there you go. And speaking of residual, I've actually put Wendy's in my social media rotation at least 2 or 3 times since I did hers. So there is definite residual in that respect.